everyone, welcome back to another contrast paint video, and today we have for you a DC miniature game model for a change, although a lot of the Batman miniature game models are interchangeable, but we're going to be trying out this game, so of course we had to get a Superman model of some kind. So this is the Batman versus Superman, Henry Cavill, Zack Snyder, Superman, kind of like his costume, but we're not going to be doing the muted tones he had in that film. We're going to be doing the lively, more Christopher Reevesy, brighter colours. That's the plan anyway. Also, most if not all of this is going to be done in contrast, barring the base, I think. We're going to be using some Blood Angels Red for the cape and boots. We're going to be using some, probably Ultramarines Blue, maybe Thalasar Blue for the rest of his costume. I don't know what to call it, I don't know what it's made of. The red will be used on the S as well, and then the yellow bits will have to get picked out with a fine brush, which is going to be very difficult for me. I'm not sure if that will have to be contrast. That might have to be just Flash gets yellow. Some Gilliman Flesh with a little bit more Blood Angels Red, just the tiniest drops around the eyes because he's meant to be preparing his laser vision, at least if you go by the official colours. And then of course just some Black Templar Black for his hair, and some Basilicum Grey for the lamppost that he's kind of up against, just to make it appear like he's flying. Just a pretty nice model. So most of it is going to be contrast. Apologies for hitting the camera there. Also based in Grey Seer, as I've been forgetting to mention in these last few videos, but they're always based in Grey Seer. So in terms of what we're going to do first, I think we'll start with the darkest colour first, do all the blue parts. At the same time, we can probably get his face and or hair done. Probably his hair first, because then I can pick around it if it needs cleaning up. So yeah, we're going to do Ultramarines Blue. Yeah, let's go with Ultramarines Blue. For he has bare hands, but from his wrists, all of this apart from his boots and his cape, and then we'll go from there. Let's get started. So here's our first check-in with the blue and the black done. While it was still damp, I did a very light dusting of the Black Templar on the belt as well, just to highlight it a bit more. It looks like it's a different colour in the official art, kind of, but not entirely sure. So, because this is mostly contrast, we're going to have to let the blue fully dry. I've also just done some touching up on the cape and around the head there, just to get rid of the blotches that spilled during application of the Ultramarines Blue. Once that's done, the next step is going to be the Blood Angels Red on the cape and the boots. Then, at the same time, might do the Gilliman Flesh, and just while it's damp, also just do the littlest dab of red on the eyes, as we talked about earlier. Then we'll need to do a third step, I think, unless I just do it in a time lapse, where we apply the Basilicum Grey, because I can't apply it while the red's just on, because it's right on the cape as well, and it's too high of a chance of bleed if we did that. But I think we could probably, well, maybe we can't even get away with the Gilliman Flesh at the same time, because the hand is touching the cape as well. The cape is the next, and the boots are the next biggest part we need to do, and the insignia in the middle, though. We'll do that. Then we might do a check-in right there, and then do a third time lapse for the skin and the grey. I think that's probably for the best, actually, yes. So let's do that. I'm going to give this a little bit more time to dry, and then we will be applying our red. So we're checking in with the model again, and off camera, just as an experiment, I took some Yandin yellow contrast and just gently tried to insert it into the gaps in there. And also it kind of looks like he's got a yellow belt buckle, so I put a little bit there as well. And I'm kind of okay with how it's came out. It's a little dull, it's not as bright as I would have wanted, but I'm scared to touch it at all anymore in case it makes it worse. So while it was damp, I just put a quick bit of Yandin yellow in the crevices there, and it seems to have picked it out relatively well, so I'm going to leave it at that. Still waiting for the red to fully dry before touching anything else, although I did use some grey sear in the pot, as always, to touch up any kind of bleed or mistakes. So, like for instance, some red had spilled onto the pillar, so that's just cleaned up a little bit. But anyway, we're waiting for the red to dry, and then we will be applying, oh, there's a little bit more there I need to clean up actually, the basilicum grey to the pillar, as well as Gulaman flesh for the hands, the face, and then we'll take a stab at doing the laser eyes, and then the base I'll have to do as well. I'll probably do that after the last time skip before we come back. So the rare triple time skip, let's have a look and see what happens. And so sometime later we have the finished model. Just off camera I applied the Storm Vermin fur to the base, and then also put Agraxor shade over the base and the pillar, just to add some more griminess to it. It is from the Grim Dark Cinematic Universe after all. I think it turned out okay. I also reapplied a little bit more of the Blood Angels red just to give it a bit more of a shine, since it's meant to be quite shiny, the cape. And it kind of has, you can see it catching the light from the window behind me there. It looks okay, and off camera I have been finishing the Batman v Superman Batman. So now you can kind of have them together as they should be. And again, not too bad. The Ultramarines blue, as always, is not the best of the contrast paints. Maybe I should have used the Talisar blue. I feel like that would have been too bright. I know I said I was going to go for warmer colours, but I feel like the Blood Angels red and the Ultramarines blue go well together like that. But maybe if I was doing this again, try the other blue. Yes, it would be lighter, might have blended better, hard to say, but I think it turned out okay. We can ignore this one because it's just, did this one off camera because it's just, it basically did a Black Templar contrast over the entire thing, dry burst silver over the armor, gold for the belt, and that was it, done, bing bang boom. Took 10 minutes, not counting drying time, basically. This took a little bit longer though. Is it better? You know, it's one of those ones where I'm not super happy. I did a second take on the face from what you saw in the time skip because I felt like the contrast was bleeding too much, so I just did some dabs with normal Mephiston red with a very, very fine brush point. The fine details like that are beyond my painting capabilities, basically, so I did what I could. This is us doing prep for the channel to try out some DC miniature game battle reports. We've got 2 done, we've got a few more models we need to do before we can actually do a battle report. But I sincerely hope you enjoyed. It's a little painting adventure for the Man of Steel. The slightly ambiguous, maybe, well not maybe evil, but you know, Zack Snyder Grimdark version. Hope you enjoyed, there'll be more to come in the future. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Ta-ta for now.